Hey everyone, it's Keeping Up with B, or as some of y'all might know me, Bhaddiebee, Bree, B, Brianna Nicole, the baddest Buta in the video, period. And I am here to tell y'all this little story time. As you can see from the title above or down below, it's going to be a story time about this guy that turned out very stalkerish, and it was so many red flags. Like right in the beginning, there was red flags, but I don't know. I couldn't see the red flags. I couldn't see it blinking in front of my face, and I ignored it, and I got put in this situation that was very, very scary. And now I'm here to tell this story. So, sorry if you heard the dog barking in the background. I don't know why the dog gonna start barking. Like literally, like girl, chill out. So basically, we're gonna call this guy. We're gonna give him the name Darren. So I met Darren on Tinder. We talked for like a month before we actually met in person. But like through text and stuff, he seemed very cool until it came down to the day of us hanging out. That's where his whole personality switched into like some you type from Netflix. You know that movie? I mean that show, literally. And we're just gonna fast forward. We're gonna go through the month of us talking and stuff because that's not really important. It really, the main story is right when we meet. So we're gonna fast forward to the day of us planning when we're gonna meet up and what we're gonna do and stuff. And this was the day of. So this is the day that we're supposed to meet, but we're planning on what we're gonna do later on in the day. But mind you, my mom just passed away a few months ago, so I was like busy doing that with my family, and that's why I was kind of in his city because I live in Northridge and he lives like somewhere deeper in LA, and my family lives in LA, so it was like close to where he lived. But I was like planning stuff for my mom's funeral, and I was like, I mean, I'm here, like I need someone. Well, I don't need. I wanted someone, just some support. So sorry, these dogs. These dogs, I swear. Can you hear it? Like, chill. Like, no one's even outside. Like, dang. Okay, we're just gonna ignore the dog. It must be having menopause or something because this dog just be barking for no reason. Like literally, I be walking to my car and the dog just start barking. I'm like, girl, you all the way across the street. I'm not even by your house. But yeah, so let me not get distracted because this dog about to distract me. But yeah. So the day of, we're like planning on like telling him like, okay, so like I'll be free after I'm done like doing the stuff with my family and like getting everything situated. And he's like, okay, da da da. So it's like this was like around 8 a.m. when I was telling him this because me and my family, we left like around 7 a.m. We left our hotel to go to the mortuary and stuff to go sign my mom papers and get her death certificate and stuff like that. So I spent like the whole day until like 3 doing that, and then my aunt wanted to get her hair done, and she was the one I was with. Like I was carpooling with her. I wasn't driving at the time, so I was carpooling with her, and that's like she's my ride. So I went with her to go get her hair done, and she got individual braids, and that takes like hours. So and her daughter got her hair done too. So they were like in the chair for like 3 hours. So they were by the time we got to the house to get their hair started, it was like 3 ish, like almost 4 when we got to do their hair, and then that's when he started blowing on my phone. And this is when the first red flag happened. Well, so I was telling him like I'm with my family, like I haven't seen them forever, like I'm trying to figure out my mom's situation, like do all this stuff, and then he's like, oh, like you got me waiting, all this other stuff, like literally like not even like thinking about what I'm going through, like not even like my mom just passed, like, you're like pressed about me like being like not hitting you up to come earlier, like what? So I'm just like irritated, and then he's like, my dad died at the beginning of this year, like, and I had to pay for everything. You don't see me complaining. I went on his Instagram, his post for his dad that passed away. He goes, R.I.P. and I'm like, it looked like y'all didn't have a relationship. That's all you got to say, like. So I'm like, okay, well, my relationship with my mom does not compare to your relationship with your dad. So like, I'm about to be here and I'm about to be trying to figure out my stuff, and I am affected by it. And if you're not affected by your dad passing, then that's on you. We're two different people. And so I just got really, really fed up. I was just so irritated. I wanted to flake. Something in my head kept telling me to flake. Something kept telling me to flake. But then Darren just kept being persistent. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, he kept apologizing when he would know that I would get annoyed and stuff. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. And then he's just blowing my phone, but he's like, oh, but like, can you like hurry up? Like, da da da, I want to see you. All this nonsense. And I'm like, dude, chill. Like, I told you I'm going to hang out with you. I told you later on in the night. It's barely like, it's barely hitting 6. Like, chill. So, we're finally, my aunt finally getting her hair done or whatever. He's finally done, like, being a crybaby about me with my family. Like, ugh. So yeah, he's done being a crybaby, and I'm like, okay, I'm heading over. Da da da. I told him it's gonna take me 20 minutes to get there. He's mad because he's already at the parking lot. I never told him to go to the parking lot. Why are you at the parking lot of my hotel an hour before I told you to even go? Like, sir. So that was already a red flag. Like, him being in the parking lot of my hotel without me even being there, waiting for an hour. Like, boy, I told you I will let you know when I'm leaving so we can meet at the same time. And then he gets mad that I'm not on my way because he's waiting inside the hotel. I mean, at the parking lot of the hotel. Like, so yeah, so he's mad or whatever. I'm like, boy, well, there's nothing I can do. I'm carpooling with my aunt. I'm not about to have you pick me up from my family's like thing while I'm like trying to get stuff situated with like my mom's situation. Like, just like, so yeah, like that should already been a big red flag for me. But I just was like, maybe he just wants to see me, you know? Like, maybe he really does just like really like me. So fast forward, I pull up to the hotel, and I don't know, I just ignore the red flags, and I go to his car, but he like picks me up from the front. So I walk with him to his car, and as we're walking to his car, he tells me about his dog and that he brought his dog and how his dog is a hunting dog, how his dog can catch like prey like this and like all this other stuff. And I'm like, are you trying to tell me this like so I don't run away, so like I don't like try, like if you're doing something I get scared that your dog would catch me, like what? So that was another red flag. I want to say that's the 4th red flag already, girl. I'm telling you, there's a lot of red flags in the story that my dumbass ignored. So we get to his car, the 5th red flag. His car's parked all the way in the back of the hotel with where there's no cameras and no cars. I didn't notice until we got to his car and I started looking around. I was like, whoa, like where's the cars? And then I got sketched, so I started looking for the cameras. There was no cameras. I said, what am I about to do? What the hell we gonna do now? So I'm like already kind of like freaking out. I'm like, okay, 1, he already has an anger problem. 2, he got a dog that's fast and that can catch me, and she be eating, she hunt. 3, I'm all the way in the back of this parking lot with nobody here. So if I scream for help or I try to run, his dog won't catch me before someone even sees me running. And then 4th, this is the 4th one. This is the 4th red flag. So we get to his car. He opens the door for me. I thought he was just being a gentleman, right? So I sit in the car. He closes it. I start like just observing real quick. I'm like looking around before he gets in the car. I see on my side that the little door thing, the door handle to open the door is gone. And you know what that means. If you watch true crime, you know what that means. Serial killer. I just I literally got so pale, like my soul left my body at that point, and I was like, I got into that mode. I was like, okay, how am I gonna get out of this situation? Because I looked around his car, and the doorknob was the first thing I spotted. The second thing I spotted was the pocket knife hanging by the door on his side. What type of stuff? So I'm like, yeah, like I gotta go, like So I'm just trying to um, be cordial, like we're really not trying to get on his bad side. And then this is where things start going south. It was already going south, but this is where I knew he was like, okay, this is where I'm about to start letting it out. Because he tried to gaslight me. Listen, you don't remember me, huh? You don't. In that moment, I swallowed rocks, literally. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't remember me, huh? I was like, no, like we never hung out. And he's like, oh, so like you're saying that we hooked up? You think we hooked up before? I'm like, no. What? Like he literally tried to make this whole story of me saying that I've hooked up with him and I just don't remember him when he was the one that literally remember me from Tinder, but I don't be hooking up with people. So that's how I know he's lying. Hold on. So he starts gaslighting me, and then just gets kind of mad that I'm like arguing back with him because I'm like, you're not about to lie on my name, like what, and make me look like a dirty little. No, I'm not that girl. You got the wrong one. You got the wrong one, and so I'm like trying to I'm like scared as hell at this time. So I'm like, okay, like it's kind of hot in your car. Like, can we go sit outside? And then he's like, oh, I thought you wanted to sit down. I'm like, okay, like I don't want to sit down anymore. It's hot. Let's go outside. So that was my way to get out of the car. So he walks all the way around and opens the door. He's like, don't touch. I got it. Because he knew I would have figured it out. But this is what he did. He sits on my side, facing outside of the car, and then he puts me in between his legs. But he locks his legs, so I can't even move. And then he just starts pressing me, literally pulling me in and stuff, trying to make out with me. And I'm like, bro, like I told you, I'm not here for this. And I literally was like trying to push him away. And then he literally was like yanking me in, like literally yanking me in, trying to put his hands in my pants and stuff. And I kept grabbing his hand, like trying to move it. So he's like pulling me in, and I can see in his eyes that he's crazy. And he's just, his whole like face like turned, it was so weird. Like it did not look like the same person that I met in the beginning. Like he had two personalities, and he was just like literally like shoving his hand down my pants. I kept telling him stop, and he was like, if you want to leave, like show me. And I'm like, oh my god, like this cannot be happening. Like this really cannot be happening. And in that moment, I just had flashbacks of all the trans women that got killed these past like years, especially in 2020. Like it just really like I was so scared. Like I'm still traumatized to this day. Like I don't even go on dates anymore. Like that literally traumatized me. And I was just like, oh my god, like how am I gonna get the situation? How? I was just like literally like praying in my head, and I had my crystals too. And luckily, one of my best friends called me, and I lied and told him that was my aunt because he knew I was my aunt, and I told him that I had to meet up with her. I told him before we met up, I was like, oh yeah, like I have to go back and meet up with my aunt to go bring in my bags. So luckily, like that story was already planned out. So he's like, oh, but she hasn't been worrying about you this whole time. Sir, why have you been thinking that? And she has been worrying about me. I just haven't been on my phone checking my text messages. But it wasn't my aunt. It was my friend. And so I'm like, Darren is crazy, right? So I answer my friend phone. I'm like, hello. So he lets me go. Well, no, this is when I'm still in his legs. So I'm like, oh yeah. But my friend didn't know what was going on. I was like, yeah, I'm coming to get the bags right now. Da da da. And I said, there's this emoji that we got for if we were ever in a situation to send to each other so we know. And then, so I sent her that emoji right after I got the phone with my aunt number. Then she texted my aunt to like let her know. And so then my aunt actually called me again, and then she was like, I'm coming like right now, like we need to go. And so that's why I told the guy, and I was like, I know guys, they don't want to meet family. You know what I mean? Like they're not chivalrous. Don't know how to talk. They're not chivalrous, and they are f boys. So I was like, oh, my aunt want to meet you, da da da. And then this is when he gets mad, but this is where he lets me go. And he's like, what the hell? Like, I don't want to meet your family, da da da. And I knew that was gonna work, you know? It's called using the mind, using their game on them, baby girl. And he was like, just go talk to your aunt. I'll send the money for the room and all this other stuff. So I go to my aunt. I'm like, I tell her the whole situation. She's like, you need to block him. So I told him, I'm like, look, like, we don't want the same things. Like, I'm just not gonna, like, I'm calling it a night, like. And like, he was trying to apologize and stuff, like about him being weird. He's like, oh, it's not a crime to just like someone, but it's a crime when you forcing yourself onto someone, sir. Like, what do you think this is? Like, sir, like, what? So that happened, and then my uncle went to go get us food like later on the night, and I told them about the truck and stuff. And guess what? He stayed in that parking lot. Darren stayed in the hotel parking lot the whole night, waiting for me or doing something, plotting, scheming. I don't know. But I was scared, and I did not go to the lobby. I was supposed to hang out in the lobby and find a sugar daddy. I did not hang out in the lobby. I stayed in that room. And I said to myself, because I was like, I'm not about to run into him. He probably in the hotel looking for me, trying to like get me. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then I just blocked him on all my stuff. But the scary thing was he had my apartment address, and I want to say I feel like I seen that truck in my neighborhood, but I haven't really been outside, so, and he don't know like which number, so he just knows the street. But just pray for me, pray that I have that protection, because honestly that was so scary. And it's just like made me realize like this is like, I know it's real, but you just never think it will happen to you, you know? And just being in a situation like that really like opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, and it just made me really feel for all my ancestors that have been killed by men that are like, they're 10 times aggressive, you know? And it just really makes me sad, because we just, the community deserves so much better, you know? And until then, I'm gonna rebel. F the dating sites. I'm gonna just be working on me, myself, and I. But yeah, that was my stalker story time, and let's hope that there's not a continuation to the story, because I want to dead it here, and I wanted to just get it out now, because my aunt brought it up a few days ago, and I was like, oh yeah, like I put that in the back of my memory that I try to forget about, but I feel like me telling this story can really help someone out, and really help someone see those type of red flags that I dismissed and that I was privileged enough to escape from, but I would never put myself in that position ever again, and I would never want anyone else to do that. So take my story and learn from it, and try to be safe out there. And yeah, because I know y'all want to find love, y'all want to experience love, and we deserve that, and we deserve to have that privilege. But just be careful, because there is some crazy people out there that will try to cut your life short. But I'll see y'all in the next one. I just wanted to jump on here and do the story time. I know I've been MIA, and honestly, it's just so much stuff that's been going on in my life, and I don't want to jump on here and make an excuse. So whenever you see a video, you'll see one. I'm going to try to get back on it, but no promises. And I love y'all, and be safe out there.